You never
That's
know who
cool.
you're going to see at these festivals either.
Right? It's so interesting. Like you've been doing them for longer than I have, but it is, and especially the ones that we were just doing out in Europe together. You have like your metal festivals that you and I were on a bit together, and then you get some of those other festivals that just have such a range of genre, right? Like, I mean, years ago we'd play on a festival later in the day, and I remember waking up in the morning and Hanson was playing MMMBop on the stage next to our bus. And
what did you do to deserve that?
Oh, I got nothing against them. They're doing their thing, man.
Well, I agree there, but to hear MMMBop in the middle of the night and right next to your bus, there's
that part was a little bit of a
pile of dog shit. Somebody stepped in.
Yeah. Well, you didn't want to wake up dead,
No.
not to pull a Reddit and use one of your things, but I don't want to do that. But speaking on touring, though, that was another thing that you and I got to talking about and everything, and I found it very interesting. Where are you at real quick before I get to that? Where are you at right now?
We are in North Carolina.
Nice.
Raleigh.
Got a show tonight then? Yep.
We're in Raleigh.
Okay, gotcha. So, so that's awesome. I see that the tour's going really well. You're out with a couple of friends of mine, Chad and why am I drawing a blank?
I say
Chad
my friend
and I draw a blank on his
back
name.
in Hell Yeah, so I didn't know him in Mudvayne, but I did know him in Hell Yeah, and oddly enough, we haven't had a chance to get together, and I look for him every day. I either see a bunch of guys walking around that look just like him with the same haircut, or I see him in his makeup, and there he is, and he's ready to work. So I hope that I get a chance to spend some time with them and catch up, because it's been really an interesting lineup, and I think a lot of people are enjoying this.
Yeah, no, it's and you got all the Mermains out there
Another
too.
Good band, yeah.
Yeah, another Phil. That's Labonte. Just had on this podcast before. He was going out on tour with you guys. I said to say hello. Have you? Yeah, you mentioned the show is something that the audience is clearly digging. Shows have been great. How's the interaction with the other bands though? Have you had a chance to sit down or talk to Phil or Chad or anything like that, or
we
has it just been you guys everyone's doing their thing like
we
normal?
talk? I think that it's just. I think they're all gentlemen, and they're showing me some respect, but I don't want them to not allow me the chance to get to know them, because they're being respectful and giving me my time. I don't want them to not come up and say, "Hey man, I got a question for you," or "Remember that time?" Or "What would you do?" Because I've, like you now, 25 years, I've been around the block many times. And I have a lot of experience with dealing with problems and know how we dealt with those problems. May not be the right solution for you or for them, but a lot of times the problems that befall us out here are human nature problems, and it goes back to communication, and that goes back to fear, and it's all fear of not getting something you want, or fear of not keeping something you already have. Everything goes back to that. Dude,
I think ego plays a part in that too, and I'm so glad that you brought this up, because it's so interesting to me. This is a catch-22 that we're always in the position of as traveling bands. You could get these bands out wherever they are on the lineup, doesn't matter. You're on tour together with these other bands, and some tours you go by and you rarely see the other band, and it's no fault of anyone. Like you said, sometimes it's you respect one another's space, you know what I mean, and maybe you respect it too much, and then at the end of it you go, shit, we never really got to hang out. So it's a tough balancing act to do out there, because you do need your space, you do need to warm up, you do need to take care of your vocals, everything like that. But there's time, and I'm glad you said, like, come up to me, say hi, and I think if everyone communicates that way and is honest, like, maybe it's not a good time for you, you can just go, hey, now's not a good time, you understand, I'll come find you in a little bit, we'll have a chat. Something like that would be a lot better way. Yeah, there you go. A good fuck off for 5 minutes is a good way to answer that.
You said something earlier,
it is interesting,
too, Johnny, about ego. And what is ego? Ego is what you think about yourself. And the fear of people not thinking highly of you, well, it goes back to fear, right?
Yes. That's the fear that plays into the ego. You're absolutely right. Yes.
Again, fear.
Yes.